The door opened. Lydia's room looked ordinary. Too ordinary. The curtains were drawn tight. The air felt thick, unmoving. The bed was made with unnatural neatness. Her school books were stacked with mathematical precision. The window was closed, though Lydia never slept without it open. "She's not here," Kittis said quickly, already edging backward. "Let's just play football." Eden stepped inside. "Lee?" She tried again, the nickname smaller this time. Nothing. Dajim moved slowly around the room. He knew something about his sister. If Lydia disappeared, it was never an accident. She didn't wander, she calculated. "She was here," he said quietly. "Look." Near the bed, a faint scratch marked the wooden floor, fresh, as if something had been pulled. Mallet folded her arms. "Pulled where?" Dagim didn't answer. He crouched and lifted the bed skirt. At first, there was only darkness. Then 2 eyes blinked back at him. Kittis yelped and stumbled into the desk. Lydia squinted against the light. "Oh," she said calmly. "You found me earlier than I expected." She crawled out, brushing dust from her sweater, as if she'd simply misplaced a pencil. "What were you doing under there?" Mallet demanded. Lydia didn't answer right away. She crossed to her desk, picked up a small notebook, and made a quick mark inside. "Timing," she muttered. "Timing for what?" Dagim asked. Only then did Lydia look at them properly, assessing fear, curiosity, resistance. "You heard it, didn't you?" she asked. "Heard what?" Kittis snapped. "The pull." They stared blankly. Lydia exhaled through her nose. "You never notice patterns," she said, not unkindly. "Every time I read past the first page, something shifts. The air cools. The shadows lean the wrong way. The room rearranges itself by millimeters." Mallet rolled her eyes. "Lee, that's ridiculous." "Is it?" Lydia asked quietly. She knelt again and slid a shoebox from beneath the bed. Inside, a flashlight, a compass, a notebook filled with neat observations, and a book. Kittis frowned. "It's just a book." "Yes," Lydia agreed. "And no." She lifted it carefully. The title read, "Beyond Elsewhere." "I found it 3 weeks ago on the hallway shelf," she said, "except that shelf doesn't exist in our house." "That's because Mom rearranged things," Mallet replied. "No," Lydia said calmly, "because there is no shelf there." Silence. Lydia opened her notebook. "I tested it," she continued. "Every time I read the first paragraph aloud, something minor disappears. Yesterday my chair vanished for 12 seconds. "That's impossible." "Correct," Lydia said. "It should be." She stood. Dagim felt it then. The shift in her posture. Decision. "What are you doing?" he asked. "Proving it." She looked at Eden. "Close the curtains. Lock the door." "Why?" Eden whispered. "Because if I'm right," Lydia said, her voice lower now, steadier. "This isn't a story about reading." She let her gaze rest on each of them. "It's about entering." Kittis shook his head. "I'm not staying for this." "You don't have to," Lydia said evenly. "But if I disappear again, you won't know where I went." That stopped him. "Disappear again?" Mallet asked. Lydia did not answer. Instead, she switched off the ceiling light. The room fell into shadow. She clicked on the flashlight and settled cross-legged on the floor, the book resting in her lap. "The interesting thing," she murmured, "is that the first line is about us." She began reading. "Where is Lydia? We want to play football." The temperature dropped instantly. The flashlight flickered. Kittis stiffened. "That's not funny." "I'm not doing anything," Lydia said, though her pulse had quickened. She noted it automatically, increased heartbeat, faint vibration beneath the floorboards. She continued. Kittis asked his sister Mallet. He is holding a ball. Inside the shoebox, the compass needle began spinning wildly. Dajim saw it first. "Lee!" The walls emitted a low hum, like distant machinery buried underground. The flashlight dimmed. Eden gripped Lydia's sleeve. "Stop," Mallet whispered. But Lydia kept reading. This was the furthest she had ever gone. Her voice trembled now, not entirely from anticipation. "He is holding a ball on his left side." The flashlight died. Total darkness. Then, The floor shifted, not shaking, sliding. Kitus screamed. Something seized his ankles, invisible, violent. He slammed to the floor and began dragging toward the far wall. Mallet lunged for him and rebounded as if she'd collided with glass. "Lydia!" Dagim shouted. In the darkness, Lydia forced herself to think. Pull force. Directional. Triggered by narrative completion. The story is executing itself. "Kitus!" she shouted. "Stop fighting it!" "Are you insane?" he screamed as he scraped across the wood. "It's not attacking you," she yelled back. "It's correcting the text." "What does that mean?" "It means," Lydia said, her voice sharper than she intended, "we've already crossed the first line." Kitus vanished beneath the bed. Then, silence. The dragging stopped. The room stilled. Mallet's breathing broke into sobs. "Where is he?" she whispered. No one answered, because no one knew. The white walls pulsed, veins of blue electricity racing through them. Behind the children, the space where Lydia's bedroom had existed was gone. No door, no bed, no home. Only a long white corridor stretching endlessly forward, the passageway and elsewhere. Kitus slid faster. "Why is it doing this?" Dagim yelled. Lydia's thoughts fired in fragments. He tried to go back. The story does not allow retreat. "It's correcting him," she shouted. "Elsewhere won't let you reverse direction." "That doesn't make sense," Mallet cried. "It doesn't have to," Lydia snapped. Kitus's scream cut off mid-breath. He vanished, not slowly, not dramatically. One blink, he was there. The next, he wasn't. Silence. The electric lines dimmed. Mallet staggered forward. "Where is he?" No one answered, because no one knew. For a moment, Lydia couldn't breathe. She had studied the book, timed its shifts, measured its patterns, but she had never calculated loss. Mallet's shoulders trembled. "You said you've been here before." "This isn't the same," Lydia whispered. The air hummed faintly, like distant wires vibrating behind walls. "Where are we?" Eden asked, her voice smaller now. Lydia forced herself to observe. White walls, blue currents, no ceiling, only a glowing void, no shadows, no return. They were frightened, they were exhausted, and they were following her, because she had opened the book. She felt that weight fully now. "We move forward," she said. "Why?" Dagim asked. "Because elsewhere doesn't trap us with walls." She glanced toward the place where Kitus had vanished. "It traps us with fear." She stepped forward. "If we let fear decide, we lose him." No one argued this time. They walked together, not because they trusted the path, but because there was no other direction, and because even intelligence, in the end, must walk into the unknown. Before landing hard on solid ground, the white dissolved like torn paper. They stood in a field, but not a natural one. The sky shimmered like fractured glass suspended overhead, each crack glowing faintly blue. The air carried a metallic tang, sharp against the tongue. The trees ahead trembled violently. "Where are we?" Eden whispered. "Further," Lydia said. Dagim took one cautious step. The nearest tree convulsed. Its roots tore free from the earth with a wet, ripping sound. It rose upright, then ran. Mallet gasped. One by one, the forest uprooted itself, roots snapping, soil scattering, branches whipping like frantic limbs. They weren't attacking. They were fleeing. "Move!" Dagim shouted. A trunk crashed where Eden had stood seconds before. Dagim yanked her aside just in time. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, wide-eyed. Within moments, the entire forest was racing across the horizon, an exodus of wood and root. Silence followed, Dry wind scraped across cracked earth. Then they saw it. In the distance, something vast undulated forward. A green spiked serpent, long as a train, plated in jagged armor. Its body glistened like mineral stone, the soil blackened beneath its path, curling into ash. Behind it rolled a low, angular metallic machine humming with blue energy. Its surface shimmered with shifting panels, mechanical limbs adjusting to terrain. The fleeing trees weren't afraid of the children. They were escaping that. Mollet tightened her grip on Lydia's sleeve. "Is that what took Kidus?" Lydia's mind raced. Elsewhere responds to emotion. This thing produces terror, which means it hunts, Lydia whispered. As if hearing her, the serpent lifted its head. It had no visible eyes, yet it turned directly toward them. Awareness met awareness. The machine pivoted as well, its blue lights flaring brighter. The ground trembled. Eden's quiet crying began again. Dajim stepped in front of her instinctively, and Lydia, for the first time since opening the book, felt uncertainty press against her logic. Patterns were one thing, predators were another. The serpent surged forward, too fast. "Run!" Dagim shouted. They ran. The sky above them fractured louder, glowing cracks widening like spreading lightning across glass. The serpent closed distance with terrifying speed. The machine followed, its hum rising into a sharp metallic whine. Mollet stumbled. Lydia caught her without slowing. "We can't outrun it," Mollet cried. Lydia scanned the field. There, a distortion in the air, subtle, heat-bending space. A thin fracture, like the one Kidus had fallen through. "Toward that!" she yelled. They sprinted. The serpent lunged. Its shadow swallowed them whole. The crack split open. The children dove. The serpent crashed through empty space and vanished. They slammed onto cold stone. The sky here was dimmer, stable, real. They lay there, gasping, alive. Mollet rolled onto her back, tears spilling freely. "I hate this place." Eden clung to Dagim. Lydia remained on her knees, chest heaving. She had opened the first page. She had chosen forward. She had nearly led them into death. But she had also seen the fracture, seen the exit hidden inside danger. Intelligence did not erase fear. It navigated through it. She looked at them, shaken, exhausted, still following her. "We're closer," she said quietly. "To what?" Dagim asked. "To him." Mollet's eyes were red. "You don't know that." "No," Lydia admitted. "But I know this." She stood. Elsewhere isolates you when you panic. She didn't know why she felt certain of that, only that she did. But it opens when you move together. The wind here did not scrape. It moved, steady, shared. In the far distance, a faint echo. Not wind, not thunder, someone falling. Then Cheru rescued them. But who is Cheru?
Kidus did not land. He did not fall. He simply stopped existing in one place and began existing in another. There was no ground, no sky, no up, no down, only vast, directionless absence. He floated, or thought he did, suspended in a white expanse that wasn't fog and wasn't light. It was subtraction. Sound vanished before it formed. Even his breathing seemed muted, swallowed by the void. "Mollet?" he tried. The word collapsed against his own ears. No echo, no resistance. He kicked instinctively. There was nothing to push against, no gravity to argue with, no horizon to aim for. He wasn't falling. He wasn't rising. He was unanchored, not in elsewhere, not at home, somewhere else beyond elsewhere. And for the first time since this began, Kidus felt something worse than fear, insignificance. "I should have stayed," he muttered. He had wanted to turn back. He had laughed at Lydia, pretended he wasn't afraid. Now he would have welcomed darkness. Darkness had edges. This place erased edges. He folded inward, wrapping his arms around himself. "I don't want to disappear," he whispered. That was the real terror. Not monsters, not lightning. Erasure. His tears drifted away in slow spheres, then thinned and dissolved before they could fall. Even grief could not survive here. He squeezed his eyes shut. "I'm sorry," he whispered, to Malit, to Lydia, to whatever rule he had broken. The white shifted, not brighter, deeper, as if something enormous had blinked. Kaitis froze. He was not alone. He couldn't see anything, but he felt it. Awareness. The emptiness rippled around him, subtle waves spreading through nothingness like unseen currents beneath still water. A vibration pulsed through the void, not sound, recognition. "You are not where you belong." The words were not spoken, but they were understood. Kaitis trembled. "I want to go back." The ripples tightened. "You cannot go back, but you may go forward." A thin fracture of light split open beneath him, sharp, precise. The crack widened. Reality gave way, and Kaitis fell. Meanwhile, Malit's arm vanished into the white beyond the door. "I can't feel anything," she gasped, pulling it back. Lydia studied the fog. It wasn't mist. It wasn't air. It was absence layered over reality, the same subtraction that had swallowed Kaitis. "We don't have time," Dagim said. "What if he's—" He couldn't finish. Lydia inhaled. This wasn't a trap. It was a threshold. Elsewhere demanded commitment. "We jump," she said. Malit stared at her. "You're guessing again." "No," Lydia replied softly. "I'm adapting." She extended her hand. "If we hesitate, the story chooses for us." That silenced them. They joined hands and stepped forward together. They fell, only seconds, before landing hard on solid ground.
The city tilted, not violently, not enough to throw them off their feet, just enough for the horizon to slip. Cheru's hands tightened on the Tayara controls. "Hold on." Below them, the city of Mahalmeter shimmered, a vast metallic disk suspended in open sky, rotating slowly over a planet that glowed from within. It should not have existed, and yet it endured. Lydia felt the shift before anyone spoke, a drop in her stomach, a sideways pull. "The gravity's changing," she said. Cheru glanced at her. "You notice quickly." The planet beneath them pulsed faint silver blue, as though something enormous moved beneath its crust. "Mahalmeter sits at the galaxy's center," Cheru explained. Malit frowned. "That's impossible." "Yes," Cheru replied softly. "And that is the problem." Invisible forces tugged at the craft. Stars, collapsed remnants, structures older than memory. The gravity here never rested. It argued, it pulled, it demanded. "How does the city stay up?" Dagim asked. "It doesn't," Cheru said. "It compensates." Below them, the great disk rotated, adjusting constantly, counterbalancing pressures no one could see. From above, it looked like a silver coin defying the void, but coins fall. Even coins obey gravity. Mahalmeter did not, and that meant something was wrong. They passed through a distortion field and landed. The surface vibrated beneath their feet. Only when they stepped out did the scale truly strike them. Golden buildings curved along the rotating plane. Beyond the rim, no ocean, no land, only sky. Stars visible in daylight. "It's floating," Dagim whispered. "It's surviving," Cheru corrected. Inside Cheru's home, a metallic sphere rolled forward. "Children are not permitted in Mahalmeter." Malit stiffened. "They arrived unintentionally," Cheru answered. The sphere paused, a fraction too long, then retreated. At dinner, beneath dim blue light, the truth surfaced. "This world was built," Cheru said. "Engineered, settled by custodians." "Custodians of what?" Lydia asked. "The center. The gravitational axis, trade routes bent because of it, energy currents aligned because of it. Whoever governed Mahalmeter did not rule a city. They influenced the galaxy. And then came the words that changed everything. It has no heirs. Silence fell heavier than gravity. No heirs? Dagim repeated. The settlers are aging, Cheru said quietly. Few children are born. Most leave before instability claims them. Lydia felt it before he finished. Central world, no successors. Unregistered children discovered here. You're going to contact the Galaxy Council, she said. Cheru did not deny it. A world without heirs must be assigned. Assigned, not offered, not gifted. Assigned. A planet is not a prize, it is weight. Later, Malit stood in Lydia's doorway. You promised we'd be home before dark. Outside, reflector panels rotated into place as daylight intensified. I miscalculated, Lydia said. They're talking about giving us a planet. Malit's voice trembled. I don't want responsibility. I want my brother. And there it was. The true gravity, not stars, not collapsing systems. Ketis, still gone. Lydia stepped to the curved window. The disk turned slowly against impossibly dense stars, the center of everything. Elsewhere tests fear. Malmeter tests worth. The floor trembled again, stronger this time. Warning tones echoed through the city. Reflectors on! Cheru's voice rang out. The disk tilted, just a little more, enough to feel, enough to remind them. This world survives by constant correction, constant balance, constant choice. If Malmeter truly had no heirs, the question was not whether they could inherit it. The question was, should they? And somewhere, far beyond gravity and politics, Ketis was still falling.
Ketis struck something. Not ground. Not air. Something in between. It absorbed him, without impact, like a dense shadow pretending to be solid. The white void was gone. Now there was darkness. Not emptiness. Presence. A thick, breathing blackness stretched endlessly around him. Alive. He pushed himself upright. Hello? The word died before it was born. Then the dark responded. Not with sound, with pressure. The space tightened around him, compressing his chest, his thoughts, even his memories. A distortion gathered ahead. Vast, undefined, taller than mountains, wider than sky. And within it, two embers ignited. Eyes. Ketis forgot how to breathe. You resist the current. The voice did not echo. It unfolded inside him. Where am I? He whispered. Between what was and what will be. The darkness pulsed. Images flickered around him. Malit crying. Lydia staring at impossible stars. The silver disk of Malmeter rotating at the galaxy's center. You took me. No. You stepped away from the path. Ketis clenched his fists. Send me back. The embers flared brighter. Return is not offered. The presence moved closer. Without moving at all, Ketis felt smaller than he had in the white void. Who are you? The darkness expanded until there was no distance left. I am the destroyer of worlds. Not rage. Not cruelty. Inevitable. Ketis saw it then. Planets fracturing in perfect silence. Stars folding inward. Civilizations dimming like exhausted embers. Not chaos. Correction. You're going to destroy Malmeter? A pause. Malmeter is unstable. It lacks inheritance. No native intelligence anchors its axis. The Galaxy Council debates. Balance must be maintained. The ground vanished beneath him, and he fell again. Back in Malmeter, everything felt perfect. Soft blue lighting, precisely regulated air, beds softer than home, silver spacefish on delicate plates. Dagim laughed, and the land was vertical, trees running across walls, a river flowing sideways. Malit smiled faintly. Eden slept peacefully. All seemed well, too well. Lydia stood by the curved window. Outside, the metallic disc rotated steadily against a storm of distant stars, the center of everything. Why are they so kind to us? She asked. Mahlet shrugged. Because they're kind. Lydia didn't turn. Or because they need something. No heirs. Custodians retiring. Galaxy Council debating succession. Children discovered at the exact center of the galaxy. At the exact moment of instability. Coincidence is comfort's favorite disguise. If Malmitter has no heir, Lydia said slowly, and the council can assign one. Mahlet's voice trembled. They can't just give us a planet. Maybe they can. The room felt colder. Elsewhere pulled them forward. The destroyer pulled Kitas away. Malmitter wrapped them in safety. 3 forces. 1 pattern. We have to leave, Lydia said. Mahlet stared at her. Why? It's safe. Lydia leaned forward gently. If this world is unstable, if it has no successor, if we appear at its center at the exact moment inheritance is debated, she let the logic settle. Dagim's excitement faded. You think we're being positioned? Yes. And Kitas? Mahlet whispered. Lydia swallowed. I think he's the condition. Silence. Outside, the galaxy shimmered beautifully, peacefully. Comfort, she realized, could be the most persuasive trap of all. Tomorrow, Lydia said steadily, we ask Cheru to take us home. And if he refuses? Her voice did not shake. Then we leave without permission. The disc rotated quietly beneath their feet, balanced. For now, somewhere beyond the stars. Kitus was still falling, and time was thinning.